Yes, yes, y'all. Okay, so we are back. We are back. They can't stop greatness. You know what I mean? Read, remember, repeat. It's your host with the most, Michael Boyd, and we doing something special for y'all real quick. So I hope my guest is on deck. I hope my guest is on deck. Let's go. How's everybody feeling today? I hope everybody is feeling wonderful, right? I hope y'all had a great day. I hope it was productive by the most. Now, but we about to get this interview started. I know everybody we bring on here is a live interview, you know what I mean? It's definitely some source gonna be dropped, you know what I mean? And I want y'all to tune in. So tune all the way in. I added you, family. I added you, Jazz. I hope you got that invite. There you go. Let me add some people in the call. Let me add some people in the call. What a beautiful Wednesday it is. Phenomenal Wednesday. Miraculous Wednesday. Fantastic Wednesday. Let's get some people on this call so we could give y'all that sauce. Okay, unable to join. See, they trying to stop greatness. At first they wasn't letting me live, but they can't stop greatness. They can't stop greatness. We about to get it in right now. Let me see. Let me invite you again. Accept. There you go. Hello, 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 family.
Hi,
Jazz, how's it going, Jazz?
it's going. What's up?
Oh man, phenomenal day, right?
Definitely.
Uh, this is a read, remember, repeat interview. We got the source for y'all because why? We definitely tapping in the books, tapping into some literature. You know what I mean? Most people don't read, and this is why we are bringing this to the front of the culture. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We we got to do it. We got to do it. If nobody else going to do it, we got to do it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
How was your day today?
So far, so good. I won't complain. How about yours?
Oh man, it was cool. It was you know what I mean.
Hmm.
It's still going. You know what I mean.
Yeah, facts.
Getting ready to take the kids out in a few. That's why I was like, could you jump on any other time? It was like
Yeah.
real crazy. But
Hmm.
let me give you the proper introduction, right? We're just now meeting. So
Yeah.
anybody that you know what I mean see us here on this call, this is what we doing right now because I personally seen you like on your Instagram. I like
Hmm.
the content, you know what I mean, and it's
Thank you.
definitely about the books. And I knew that you was like a perfect person for me to bring on this platform. You know what I mean? Because it was
Hmm.
like I see your dedication. You got what you currently reading on there, what you currently listening to, which is
Hmm.
dope. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
not a lot of us are tapping into the literature. You know what I mean? And it's very important. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
very vital for the culture. Um, Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jazz. Let us know. Tell them, you know, your story, your background, what led you to reading. Give them a little bit about yourself.
Um, well, I guess you can say it's a kind of straightforward. Like I've always liked stories and anything that can like grab my attention and inspire me in many different ways, whether it's, unity or teaching me a lesson. I would say that I've liked reading like since I was a kid. I wasn't like a big reader, but I was more into like movies and all that. And as I got older, I just kind of wanted to, I guess you could say, expand my horizon with the storytelling. And when I decided to be an author, I knew the only way to really hone my skills is I have to read. If I'm gonna like produce something for an audience, I would have to, be the audience as well. So
Correct.
yeah.
Let us know your background, where you from.
Originally, I am from the Illinois area, but
Okay.
now I'm residing in Oklahoma for a while
Okay.
with my husband. And yeah, I'm always get really weird with questions like this because I'm not exactly sure what to share because there's so many different, pockets that I could dive into. So,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right. I know, cause it's what, 4 o'clock your time now?
yeah, I'm in Central Time.
Yeah, you're on Central Time. We over here
Hmm.
on Eastern Time. So it's
Okay.
5 o'clock where I'm at.
Hmm.
Now I mean, whoever's tapping in, I write the comments in your time. You know what I mean? What time is it for y'all over there? You know what I mean? And we're gonna get this interview started. So, what was your what was your first take on, like, wanting to be an author?
Mm, I would say that it was you have to know where you're going with your story because it's really easy for people to get bored. It's just like any other hobby or activity. If you're gonna write something, if you're gonna film something, if you're gonna play something, you need to be able to as far as creation, you need to make sure that you can hold your audience's attention. And for me, it was just like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do this, what will be my, main goal? And for me, I really wanted to create books for my nieces and nephews because I felt like there were a lot of things in life that I wish I had learned, and I'm like, well, how can I provide this to them? And the thought of storytelling came up because I've always been a writer, but I never really thought that I could make anything out of it. Like it wasn't something, brought to my attention because as, growing up as a black kid, in not the best area, they don't tell us about all the like creative stuff that we can do. It's just like, oh, become a lawyer, become a doctor, be a nurse, like the stereotypical stuff. But no one ever told me like, hey, you can become an author and make a career out of that. So when I started tying in all the things and learning more within that field, it just kind of took off from there.
Mm, dope, dope, dope. How's
Hmm.
your support on
Uh, it's okay. I would say I definitely get a lot more support online because that is where my community is. Because not often do you find people, as you said, who like to read or like stories. A lot of people be like, hey, let's go to the movies and call it a day. But to
correct?
actually get someone who likes to read is different. And um I'm okay with that because it's actually something I just wrote a status about on my Facebook. Like, it's not that you don't necessarily have a community or support within your community. It's just that not everybody is interested in what you're interested in, and that's okay because there are other people who are interested in what you're interested in, and that's the point of networking. So it's like, hey, don't get mad that they don't like what you like, because if you don't like what they like, that's all right. So I would say support is good because I'm finding the community that I need to have that type of support. And I mean, at first it was kind of nerve wracking. I'm not like the most outgoing person. So it was just like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. And, it's either going to go up or down. So yeah, it's been okay so far.
That's dope. That's dope. Um, what did you want to be when you grew up, or when you was,
When I was younger,
as a kid? Yeah.
uh, I'm gonna be real with you. I can't put my finger on it. I was not to toot my own horn, but like a lot of things came easy to me. So to me, it was like, oh, I can be a scientist. I can maybe go to school for law. Like my mind was everywhere, and essentially, I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go to school for what can make me money, and I ended up getting my bachelor's in applied engineering and technology, and
Dope. Dope.
that was cool for a minute. I focused in on project management, which, it's cool, but at the end of the day, when it all came down to it, I knew that like, this isn't for me because it took me out of who I believe that I was supposed to be. Because when it comes to technology and writing, those are two different skills. You got hard skills and soft skills, and me having to be in a more technical mindset took me out of being creative. So I knew that I needed to step out of that and really step into, you know, where I wanted to be. So, yeah.
Dope. That's dope. Um, what is your highest level of education?
Uh, I would say, well, I have a master's certificate in project management, so that would
Let's
probably be the highest.
go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
And how does that help you like move forward in life? Like what is it that you use that, credentials for? Like is it anything that you feel is special in your journey?
With project management, it's because it's such a broad field, it's helped me with my organization, and I'm actually creating something right now that's gonna like implement some type of project management within the product. Well, I'm trying not to talk about it, but I mean, it's going to come out anyway. So I'm like trying to create a stationary business, and I want to create a planner for like geared towards authors so that they can, have a structure, because it's a lot of people will say, hey, I want to write a book, but they don't know where to get started. So having project management, which is, basically being able to execute a project from beginning to end and taking looking at all the steps and dissecting everything on how to get it done and having like some type of structure, I want to implement that into book writing. So I would say it's helped me in various ways, actually.
That's dope. That is me.
Hmm.
Let me know about it because I do plan on writing a second.
Yeah.
Uh, Grateful, I'm an author myself, but I
Awesome.
had to tap into books myself
Hmm.
to be able to write a book. You know what I mean? Like I
Definitely.
always wrote music, which was cool,
Hmm.
and that's how I was able to write. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of songs, which came with like scenario. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And but I do want to tap in a little bit better, you know what I mean? And get better with the craft, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
let me know when you are dropping that,
Definitely.
workbook and I'll definitely cop out.
Are you in like a nonfiction or fiction? Like what type of books do you write?
It's really I wouldn't say it's fictional, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Because it's like
Yeah.
it's not real characters, but it's like based around, reality, personal development, self development. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's what I like to look at in most of my situations. Like I love personal development. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
for sure.
personal development has to do with reading. You know,
Hmm.
um, you know, possibly going to the gym.
Hmm.
Meditation,
Yeah.
going out into nature,
Hmm.
just getting to know yourself, you know what I mean? That's personal development to me, as opposed to just like going along with your job or just going along with, social media. Because at the
That's
end of the
true.
day, that's
Hmm.
that's something that can just take you, you know, into
Hmm.
its own thing, you know what I mean? As opposed to you just being like, I don't know if I want to do this. I want to sit down and just be still. I want to
Yeah.
meditate.
Yeah, I definitely
Um,
believe that people need to step more into their individuality, because a lot of us let our surroundings define who we are. Like, oh, this is what I do at work, so this is who I am. And it's like, no, you're a lot more outside of that. And I think that's why it's so easy for people to get caught up in being jealous of seeing other things that other people are doing. It's like, well, you can do that too. You just have to step into doing that, just that. So I completely agree. Self development and, self love and care is something that I definitely hone into, that actually like really boosted me towards really going after what I wanted to, because of the fact that I was realizing like I was settling within my job at first, because I was doing, like I said, project management with various different things. And it was like, this is okay for a job, but I'm not trying to do this the rest of my life. And I'm like, I need to just go ahead and do what I need to do to get there, rather than just sitting here and waiting until I'm 65 to retire. Because I personally, feel like people if you're gonna choose to do something the rest of your life, make sure that you are doing what you want to do, because it's gonna take a toll on you to be somewhere that you truly don't want to be. So
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like you can't waste life. Like I wouldn't want to
Hmm.
waste life. You know what I mean? Like
Facts.
imagine being 60 and you was like, this is all I did. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's all
Like,
I got into. And I'm like, I can't imagine. Just the worst thing that can happen is that you fail. And I think people look at that as if, hey, if I fail, everybody's gonna know and I'm gonna get clowned about it. And it's just like, honestly, a person failing at something is better than them not trying at all, because not trying at all shows the lack of confidence that you have in yourself. And to me, it's like you work at your confidence, or you just live without ever having confidence. And like I said, I'd rather try it and fail at it and see where else I can go with things, rather than just to like never try it at all, because it's gonna, me personally, I know it's gonna eat away at me if I never do, or go after the ideas that I have in my mind. Like, it's just like there's no way that I'm just gonna sit on them.
Right. Yeah, man. What was your first few jobs growing up?
My very first job, I was in a hair store, like, or a hair shop. I was like a shampoo girl, I guess you could say. So, um, and then I moved
Could you
along into
imagine
like,
doing that for 60 years? Just
oh no,
shampooing
good
people's
God, I don't got
hair.
the time. I don't have the time. Like, it's crazy how lucrative the beauty industry is nowadays. So it's like, if I really wanted to just be about money, yeah, I could turn that. I could flip that, but I don't want to deal with people's hair, man. Like, it's just I want to deal with my own. So I know that I'm not going to be able to, deal with everybody else's. So it's that would not have been something that I would have been happy with. But to, people who are making that work and something that they love, it's crazy. Like, I salute them for sure.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. What else? What any other jobs?
The basic stuff that teenagers got into, retail, and then I jumped into corporate because I thought that's where I was supposed to be. And um, out of college, I was working at like Walgreens corporate and all that, and I moved on to another field called fenestration, where I was dealing with the windows and doors, where
Mm.
like we needed to test to make sure that they can withstand hurricanes. So you'll shoot like launch 2x4s out of a cannon to see like how well they can withstand the impact, and other things like
That's
something
different.
called like a SHGC, where you're trying to see how much the UV, like how much heat like the windows can help your home retain. It gets really like technical, so I hate talking about it because people be like, uh-huh.
Yeah, because that's
Anyway.
different. That sound like a crash dummy test or something like that.
it's
Like,
it's it's you know it's honestly not even as fun as it sounds. Like, you hear about it, you like, word, wow. And then when you see the test, it's like, okay, cool. Like, the first time seeing it is interesting, but I think after a while it's just like, oh, all right, and go from there.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Hmm.
crazy. My fault. Somebody called just now.
No, I figured.
Um, what is the best praise you ever received?
Best praise. I that's interesting. I'm not sure. I Yeah, I don't think that's something that I think I often don't. I don't know. I don't think it's anything that I've like kept note of. Um, because in a way that it's like, if I do receive a compliment, it's I can take it as a compliment, but I more so receive it as like kind of like a thumbs up, like you're doing well, but not anything that I should hang on, because praise can come from anywhere. In addition to, you never know who's lying about the praise, if that makes sense. Like,
Mm-mm.
people like to gas people up.
Yeah, I get it now.
Timer on my phone where it like shuts out. But yeah, like what was the question? I just lost track of train of
What's
thought.
the best praise you ever
Yeah. Oh yeah.
received?
So it's just, you never know, because people like to gas each other up, and you never know if it's just like people doing it just to do it, or if they mean it. So it's just like, if somebody gassing me, it's just like, okay, thank you. But like, I usually try to not stay in that. So that's actually a really tough question. I've never been asked that before. I have
Do
no
you
idea how to
think do
answer
you
that.
think we have anything to do with like the praise itself? Like do you think, is it just the other person, or like the way we internalize it is the way the praise, you know what I mean, should be accepted or expected, you know what I mean?
Hmm. So you're asking me like, how
Like, do
should
you
a
think we
person?
have like if somebody say, "Oh, you know, I like your hair, family, and you like,
Mhm.
you might just have that feeling like maybe this
Yeah.
person gassing me. Do you think
Yeah.
that like that? I think that plays the most in the praise. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
like our judgment to the praise. You know.
Mhm. Probably because it could be just like how you view the person, and in addition to the praise that's being received. Because if you don't like trust somebody and they like, oh man, that's real cool what you're doing, it's just like, yeah, okay, sure it is. But if you trust that person, they're like, hey, I'm really proud of you. It's really cool what you're doing. You're like, oh, thank you. Like, because like, oh, hey, you're paying attention to what I'm doing, and I appreciate the support. So I think it definitely like plays a role with how we receive it in addition to who it is that's giving the praise. So,
Right. Correct.
mhm.
Correct. What is a typical day like for you?
um, I definitely try to wake up like every day at 8. I always feel like if I wake up too late, I've slept my day away. But like, well, last night I'd slept a little longer because I was up to like 2 or 3 in the morning trying to edit. But I'll wake up maybe around 8, get up, like try to wake myself up a little bit and get used to the day instead of jumping right into work. But once I've waken up, check my emails and all that, I'll start doing any work that I have. So if I have a book that I need to finish editing, I'll, start going through that. Once I finish that, maybe read up on some things because I do feel like we are people who should continue learning. I don't want to ever be that person that feels like they know everything because you don't. Like there's always a new form of something, there's always a new finding no matter what it is. So definitely trying to learn things in addition to it's like you said earlier, meditation is important, and making sure that I'm grounded and connecting with myself, because if I'm outside of myself, there's no way that I'm going to be able to bring my full abilities to the forefront, simply because it's like you can be working in autopilot if you're not fully there. And I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with that, but when you're just kind of working robotically, it's not necessarily you. I don't even know if you're even grabbing anything from that because it can just be mechanical. You know what I mean? So,
And that's what most I guess working in a job, you can actually create that habit of autopilot, right?
for
Because it's
sure.
like from when you first had a job to when the next time you had a job to the next time, it's like I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
clock in. I'm just gonna
just
go to lunch when they
existing.
tell me go to lunch.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that. Habit is key. Habit is important.
Yeah.
We must create habits, right?
Uh-huh. Good
Yeah.
habits.
So, what's your take on? Matter of fact, I did ask you what's your take on personal development. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. Being a reader, that is hard to say. I have a lot. Um, the only one that can come to mind right now is something I read in a book called The Fountainhead, and there was a character who asked another character, "What do you think of me?" And he said, "I don't think of you." And I thought that was like really interesting because it's like it showed how much people really worry about what others think of them, and that can really hinder you to your growth and where you go in life. And if that person's like, I don't think of you, that means they're saying, I worry about myself and only me, and I don't have time to think about you because what you do is not my business. And I feel like that's very important for people to know, because there are things that you may need to do in life that does not look, correct to other people, but it's what you need to do to get to where you need to be. And if you don't take that step, you may not get as far as you want to get or even complete the goal that you want to complete. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
Mm.
that's the quote that came to mind.
Okay. Do you believe in like being selfish or like because personally, you got to fill your own glass up before you pour into other people.
You
You know
do.
what I mean? So
Mhm.
do you believe in like spending a lot of time by yourself? Is that like selfish, or is that a form of just like growing and learning?
Um, It is being selfish, but it's the way that you view it because people look at selfishness as a negative thing, and it's not always negative. Um, just like being selfless is not always a good thing. Because if I were to completely be selfless and I always put everyone else's needs before mine, I would completely run empty and run dry to the point of probably driving myself crazy. And it's like you just said, if I'm not filling me up, what else am I going to have to give?
Mm-hmm.
And that really plays a role on people's mental health and stability because they feel unappreciated you know what I mean? Like, it'll be like, I'm doing all this and nobody's paying attention, or yeah, just simply that. So I don't believe in, I believe that you can be selfish, and I believe that selfishness can be a good thing. And it can just be, I guess you can say it depends on how you phrase it too. I look at it as boundaries. If you need me to do something for you and I can't do it, I can tell you no, but it doesn't mean that I hate you or that I'm being a bad friend or family member. It just means like I can't do it. And you taking it personally isn't doing anything but upsetting you for what reason? Because a lot of people feel entitled to our time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real
It's
though.
just like, you should do this. And it's like, why? Like, I can help you if I have the time, and but you should never feel you should never feel entitled to me. You don't own me. Nobody owns me. Like, the only person I belong to is the Most High, but you're not gonna sit here and tell me that I owe you anything, because I don't. And I think a lot of people know how to manipulate people to the point of you know feeling like they can say, "Oh, you're selfish." It depends on what you think I'm being selfish with, because in addition to that, if I step outside of myself and not be selfish and do something for you, how do you know that I won't resent you for trying to make me feel like I should do that for you? Because a lot of people will use that against you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're being selfish. All right, fine, I'll do it. But then later on, they'll probably hate you for
Mm.
making them do it. So
Right,
it's
right,
yeah, you can be selfish. You just don't be selfish in the worst way, and you have to know the difference between the two.
right, right.
Mhm.
Is there a date that you plan on dropping the book?
My book.
Your book.
No, I'm still working on my book. I'm doing a lot of editing still and writing and revamping things. I want to be done with my first draft before the end of the summer and get it, rolling. But I don't have a date of dropping that yet because I have so many ideas that I keep running through in my mind where I'm creating this book, and then I'll think about something else that I need to add to my other fiction book, and then I'll think of a whole different idea of something that I want to create. So I need to make sure that I stay focused. But I don't have a date just yet. But I'm hopeful to like have it like completely done by the end of the year. That's my goal, to have it done by the end of the year or sooner.
Mm. What is your favorite books, and what are you currently reading right now?
My favorite book is The Fountainhead, by Ayn Rand.
What is it?
Yeah.
Say it again. I'm gonna type it.
The Fountainhead.
The Fountainhead.
Yeah, I have it right
Got
here
on
actually.
this screenshot.
Okay.
The Fountainhead.
Yeah, by Ayn Rand. And I am
By what's his name?
currently
Iran.
I don't actually, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. She's like Russian or something. Ayn.
Okay.
But I'm that's my favorite book, and I am currently reading. I have a few books I'm like jumping back and forth with, to be quite honest. I don't even know which one to pick, so I'll just name off a few. Like, I am listening to the audio of Will Smith's book. I am listening to the audio of another book called Every Last Secret. I'm reading Harry Potter, and I actually need to start The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo because I have a book meeting that I am supposed to be a part of next week so that we can discuss the book. So those are the four for now.
That's dope. I'm jealous of you for reading Harry Potter, yo. Why? I tell everybody this too.
Hmm.
When I was younger, I always wanted to read the Harry Potter series. Like,
Really?
I just wanted to. I don't know, because I felt like the series had different things going on, or maybe just more dramatic
Hmm.
than the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I always been a Harry Potter fan, and this is actually the first time that I'm reading the book series, and I'm like, if this is going on in the movies, what's happening in the books? Because you can never trust for Hollywood to give you the same story as the book will. So I'm like, I know I'm missing something, and it's crazy how different, or so far, book two, there are certain characters who say certain things in the movie other than the person in the book. So, and I mean, this is just book two, and I have a friend. She's like, "Oh, it gets real different by like book four." So,
Oh
I'm
man,
just waiting to get there. But I definitely, I am a Harry Potter fan, and I can't
yeah,
wait to like finish reading the series.
yeah, you're making me want to tap into that one because
Hey, get the
I don't know. I
audio
read
book. Just
yeah.
listen to it on your way to work or something, or when you just washing dishes. Like
See,
audiobooks are
I
very
because I
handy.
seen the movie first, it kind of takes away from me listening to the audio. So I'd rather just like pick up the the hard copy and just get
Mm-hmm.
into it, because I don't think that I could do the audio only because you
Mm-hmm.
seen the movie first, which kind of spoiled it. You know what I mean?
It does and it doesn't, because if you go in knowing like, hey, I know what's going to happen, but have an open mind to there can be differences within the book, then you'll be straight. Because I was very afraid of that too. I'm like, well, I know the ending, but I also know there are going to be so many different things that I'm probably going to miss out on if I don't read the book. And I mean, the audio book, I guess I get what you're saying, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing as the book. The audio book, you're just listening to the words from the book, opposed to a movie that will really completely like wipe out a whole bunch of different things. Because in a book, if I saw something on your desk and I was like, yeah, he had a blue bottle of lotion, that's not something that the movie would tell you. It'll be the smallest detail in a movie, opposed to something that is written out in a book because they felt the need to tell you that. So
Yeah, I learned that from you in one of your contents. It was like when you say he looked to the left,
mm-hmm.
say it as like he moved his body and looked, you know what I mean? Something that
Yeah,
just like is way more detailed
yeah,
as
it can be a
opposed to
difference.
just, yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
deep. That's deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, yes. What books changed the way you think?
The Fountainhead for sure. That's where I got that quote from. Actually, one of the characters is from the Fountainhead. That and um, there was a book called Redeeming Love. Uh, it was a romance, and I guess it kind of gave me a different perspective on like relationships. Um, I There's a nonfiction book called Medical Apartheid, and it talks about like the experiments that were done on Black Americans back in the day, and how a lot of that experimentation like plays a huge role in how the medical field has been developed nowadays. So there's a lot of books that like really shifted me. So I'm not even sure which all the name, but those are a few. But definitely the Fountainhead, because it gave a variety of so many different characters, and it was played out so well. So yeah.
Is there a preference of genre?
uh I would say like fiction fantasy would probably usually be my go-to genre, but lately I've been like hooked on the domestic thrillers, so I can't say any preferences, but mostly fiction. I like, nonfiction here and there, but I have a preference of like different made up stories, because those have a specific message more than half the time, opposed to a nonfiction book. Well, depending on that genre as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm into the personal development self help books, man.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know if
feel
they
you.
just stick out to me if it's just like bam, uh
Hmm.
uh, you know, how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
Bam, the power of the subconscious mind. Like I don't know
Uh,
if it's like maybe that's just, what's calling me at the moment.
yeah, I would say so.
But
What's
I'm gonna
really just
need I'm in
attracting you? Uh huh.
yeah, I'm gonna need some or post, you know what I mean? Some very good,
Hmm.
fiction fantasy
Hmm.
books up so that we can tap in because I do, I like how like somebody said, what a beautiful mind. I
Hmm.
like how you just bring it out. Like it's like they say, whatever you eat, you shit. Not like that. You know, I don't want to. But they
No, I get
say
what you're
what you,
saying.
yeah. So it's like your
Yeah,
diet. You can tell what you got is coming out by the
yeah,
way you read, by the way you know,
yeah.
just what you've been through. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
How do you learn best?
It depends on the subject. It depends on what it is, because if it's something like very technical, I need to be hands on. But then if it's something mental, then I have to read it. There are some things that I need to really read to get a better grasp of, and sometimes it's both. Sometimes I need to do hands on and then just do it myself, or it's the other. So I guess you could say I don't have a specific way that I care to learn, but because it can all just mesh together for me.
Right.
Like I learn it and I have to apply it. When you just learn something, it's easy for it to go in one ear and out the other. I was just talking to my cousin about that the other day. How in college I had so many classes that I had to take, and it was a requirement. And I don't use those classes. Like I didn't even use those classes when I graduated. Like for instance, they're like, "Hey, you need to take this many history classes." I have no idea what history classes would have ever had to do with me in engineering. So, it depends.
Right. Shout out to Manny Black 123. He said, "What you eat is what you become." And
Hmm.
that's another fellow author friend of
Okay.
mine.
Uh-huh.
Gym guy, fitness guy. I'm actually show his first book. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Beginner's
awesome.
Guide to Fitness. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And he just put out part two. So
Awesome.
I will share it, put it on the on the stories on Instagram and things like
Hmm.
that, and just give light to my fellow authors because I know it's not easy. It gets easier,
Yeah,
but it's not easy
eventually.
to just go into your mind and put that down on paper. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. And I think a lot of people forget, like, they'll try to write and then they're like, oh no, this trash. I don't want to do it. But one thing that I do like to remind like my clients or anybody who are reading or writing a story, your first draft will never be your best draft. Like your first draft will be trash, and it's supposed to be because it's your first draft. That's the point of like editing and revamping later. But as long as you keep at it, it's gonna come out, the way that you want it to. Don't rush it. Take your time, and bring out the best of it.
Yes, yes. How did the year start off for you?
Uh, it was a little hectic. I was house hunting. So
Okay.
that was not fun. You would think house hunting is fun, and it's not. But that was interesting, and I think it was that, and then once I was able to really sit down somewhere, it just kind of my creative juices just really kicked off because I had always wanted to do the writing planner that I talked about, and now I've just really sat down and been able to like really start creating a layout and what I want in it and all that. So it's started off a little rough, but then it slowed down and then it picked up real quick once I really like got back grounded to what I was trying to do.
That's gonna be dope. I really
I
like
hope so.
that. No, I think that's gonna be dope because it's kind of like will you be talking about it and having like a workbook on the side, or would it just be like
Hmm.
I don't want you to spoil it, but at
Well,
the
I
same
mean,
time, what I'm
it's
thinking in my mind is like
yeah.
you're talking about the way to come with a book,
Hmm.
at its at a good way,
Hmm.
and then I see like a workbook showing you like step by step. Is it both that's going to be combined?
Yeah, something like that. So, I'm hoping to make it beginner friendly, and it's going to explain what the book can be used for, or rather, yeah, what the journal slash planner can be used for. So it's going to be like basically I'll like give little steps of what you can do and spaces where you can like brainstorm and plot out your own stuff. And like for instance, within the first couple pages, I'll have like an area for brainstorming because you can have an idea for a book, but at the same time, it's like, well, what else do you have in your mind for it? Because you don't naturally just have it all lined out. It's just like, well, I want this to happen, I want that to happen, and I want this to be the essential. So if you brainstorm, you just have a brain dump on that page. You can get that all out and written down somewhere. so that you can create space for, you know, to create more for the story within your brain. And then you go on to the next pages and it'll probably be like, you know, this is how you can outline your story. This is what you need to think about. Um, in addition to, you know, you move on to the next one, and then I want it to be like a calendar. So for you to map out, hey, this is how many, or this is how long I want it to be, because I do want it to be like a certain amount of time. I want it to be like a goal type of planner. So if you say, hey, I want to write my book and have my and have a final draft within 6 months, it's gonna like take you through that. So the first couple months is gonna be all writing. You'll be done in writing in 90 days. You know, jot down how many words you wrote, what your chapters are about, and then from that point on, I'll talk more about editing and what to look for, um, what to expect, and just like little notes like that's gonna help, because there are questions that people have because they have never published a book, or you know, they don't know much about getting a book published. So I'm hoping to have like little notes and little, you know, reminders throughout the book. Yeah, it's a lot. So, but
You're
I'm hoping that it's helpful. That's my goal, is I want to help people, because
you're going to
yeah,
help a lot of people with that.
I hope so.
And here over at Read, Remember, Repeat, I guess it makes no other choice but for us not to promote it. Like, we have to promote that for you, because as
Thank you.
opposed to, we want more books, we want more writers, we want more readers, we want more
Hmm.
authors.
Yep.
Um, I started like some charity just because I would like to, even like, you know, there's people like in the orphanage, or like people that's like
Yeah.
homeless, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
nobody's better than one or the other, but it's the biggest thing is our thoughts. So the
Right.
way you think can change the way you live life, the way you,
Hmm.
you know, create, the way you you know, just build this life for yourself. And I think that what you're doing is going to help so many writers, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, get to the next level.
Hmm.
You feel me?
I definitely hope so. That's my goal. Like, at the end of the day, I know that I had goals, and I'm like, you know, how can I help somebody else get here? So that was an
Mm.
idea that I had, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've been working on it. I was just brainstorming with my partner the other day to like, you know, how we can get this going. So hopefully I have that ready by the summer. So yeah.
Hmm. What about
Hmm.
the children that's unfortunate that you know their parents can't buy them anything? Right,
Hmm.
right. You know, um, I believe that when the world, like, how do you quiet down the world? You know what I mean? Sometimes, how do you quiet, you know, the comparison? Because Instagram is crazy.
A
Like, I'm talking
trap.
about, you could see people living a best life, and
Hmm.
you could just be like, "Oh, I wish I was in Cancun. Oh, I wish I was in Mexico." You know what I mean? And I'm
Hmm.
speaking for myself, because sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I want to be here,"
Yeah.
but at the same time,
Right.
it's like, you know,
Hmm.
in order to quiet your mind down, sometimes you have to tap into, you know, something like I said, personal development, meditation,
Hmm.
working out, reading. It's like, for me, that's what I see can help someone. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Personal development can really help someone. You know.
Facts. That's,
Um.
yeah. I agree that I agree that Instagram is definitely a trap. I'm right there with you. I'll be scrolling, I'll see somebody in Maldives, and I'm like, oh, it must be nice. You can just jump into the ocean. But you know, it's I personally think that that's when people really need to take a step back and look at themselves and understand that these platforms are literally to show you the highlights. They are not to show you. Now, some people do show you every single step of the process, where they're crying, where they're struggling, and when they're happy. But a majority of people will not show you the struggling part, because they are like, you know, so many instances where it's like, I want to do this. And then within their next post, they're like, hey, I did this. They didn't show you the 12 hours it took for them while they're in the back crying to get it done. So I think
Right.
it's, for me, I really had to accept like, hey, everybody's journey is not yours, because I can't sit back and say, you lived my life. You know exactly how I feel. You don't know exactly how I feel. You don't know every step of the way that I had to get here. So I think it's important for people to remind themselves that we are all different. We are all individuals. We're just different people. and our journeys will never be the same. It'll never look the same. So it's yeah, it's really just taking yourself out of that whole, oh, they're better than me because they're doing that. And just like, well, not necessarily, because for all you know, mommy and daddy could be paying for that trip. Whereas you may not have a mother and father to pay for that trip. You got to work on your own. You got to, get in where you fit in.
Right.
So it's just not the same. It's not the same. And I mean, I know that's hard. That's easier said than done, for sure. I know, but you really have to work on yourself, and I think that comes with self-confidence and self-love and all that stuff, because I think there's a part of yourself that you kind of get mad, like, why can't I do this, why can't I do that? And it's just like, well, actually answer that. Why can't you? Well, because I don't have the money right now. Exactly. So why are you mad about it?
Right.
Like,
Right.
you have to, you gotta boost yourself up, and
Yeah.
you ain't gotta tear nobody down. It's just being real and honest with yourself. And I think a lot of people don't care to, or not that they don't care to do it. I don't think they know to do it.
Yeah.
You can't, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Like,
Correct.
seriously, you don't know what
Correct.
you don't know, and you can't be mad at yourself for not knowing. Like, people who are mad at themselves for not knowing about something that they think they should have known, and it's like, well, when did you find out about that? How did you find out about that? So when do you think that you would have found out about that before? You can't be mad at yourself for not knowing what you don't know, like, at all. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. It's all part of your journey, man. The Most High has a purpose for you, and if you believe He has a purpose for you,
Mhm.
then what's for you is for you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Us waking up today having this conversation, you know what I mean? This was for us. This was for other people that's watching.
yeah.
But people that's not watching, and it probably wasn't for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Facts. And people have to understand that too. If it's not for you, that's okay. It's truly okay. But I think like social media is you gotta really know what it is. You have to understand what social media is. And for me, social media is a platform for my businesses. It is not a platform for me to showcase like my life. And if I choose to share my life with you, then cool. But I don't have to do that. And but some people, they want to show that. And I think it's really how you take it. If you want to eventually get to Mexico, Maldives, then make that a goal for yourself. But
Yes.
don't just sit there and wallow in self-pity, like, oh, I wish I was there. It's just like, well,
Because
do you
that's
want to
definitely
get
not gonna
there?
help you get there.
It's
That's
it's
definitely
not.
not gonna help you get
And it's easy to do that. But if you take social media for what it is, then it'll be way easier for you to step outside of that and become better with who you are and who you're meant to be.
there. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. Um, we're not gonna do this about social media all day, but
Nah.
what it so so your end of the year goals.
Hmm. Okay. I would say, like
Is
I
there
said,
is there a certain amount of books you want to read by the end of the year?
I have a goal of 50 books. Um, I'm at about, I think I have like maybe 14 or 15 that I've read or so. So I'm almost there. I'm hoping to get there, but like I said, I keep having these ideas, so my mind wanders and I'll be doing other stuff. But my goal is 50 books.
Mm.
This one lady I saw had like a goal of 1,000. I'm like, okay, so
I got 100. I
that's
mean, not
that's
like
a
that,
really
but
good goal.
I just rather shoot for the stars, and if I land on the moon, I'll just
Uh-huh.
land on the moon.
Oh,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
going. Yeah, I definitely get that, but I'm like, I know how I am, and I'm like,
Nah,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm not gonna
yeah.
overdo it for myself.
Nah, listen. 50 is a real not, and 50 is possibly hard for some people to even get
Hmm.
through and read them books. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
a big goal too. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But on
Yeah.
top of like me reading the books on the platform, because I
Hmm.
read on the platform, and then when
Yeah.
I leave, when I'm walking around, I might have a different book with me. You know what I mean? As opposed to the
Hmm.
book that I'm reading on the platform. But the
Facts.
book that I'm reading on the platform, more so likely I read already. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So I'm actually going through it twice while I'm
Hmm.
reading it on the platform, because I read it myself and I'm
Right.
revisiting it while I'm doing it with the platform. So it's kind of like, and then I got it on audio. So if I wanted to listen to it on audio in my own voice,
Yeah.
you
I
get what I'm
mean,
saying?
yeah, go through that. Okay. I feel like if
Yeah.
you have a goal, it don't matter what the goal is, what the number is, do what
Yeah.
you do.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Um, if a genie gave you three wishes, what would it be?
Oh God, nuts. Yeah, I don't know because I, of course, your first thought is to be selfish, but then I go to wanting to like help out everybody, and it probably sounds like the corniest thing in the world, but I do believe that one of them would truly be like peace, like for everybody, because life on this earth is no joke, and I I'm a person that's very into my own mental health, and like how you say you're about like self development and self help books and all that. I'm definitely there with you, and I if I can like alleviate that for everyone, that would be great. Because at that point, we don't have to worry about no wars. We don't got to worry about stress and all that. Yeah, it'll probably be like for us to just live peacefully and just know nothing bad. So yeah, I can't even answer. I don't even know what else to say. My mind
Yeah.
goes real far with that.
Don't try to sneak out. You got two more.
uh, so peace. What else can a person wish for? Well,
That's dope though. Even just that one by itself. Even if you really was like standing on that, like, nah, I just want peace for everybody.
yeah.
That made me smile because it some people like, even if let's say you was to say, I want everybody to be rich.
Mm-hmm.
Rich comes with a whole nother thing too, you know what I mean?
No money, no problems.
You know what I mean? But if everybody was rich, then it probably wouldn't be nobody hating on you or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But
Oh,
at the
well, that's
same
not
time,
true. People be
right.
mad for the man. Listen,
If, if,
I
you know
have
they say if you give
experienced it.
everybody in the
Uh-huh.
world the exact same amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
the money end up right back in the same hands.
It will. It will because there will be competition. There'll be competition with people. Like that's why I say peace, because if you have peace of mind and you're confident in who you are, we ain't gotta worry about like all this other, who's best, who's got the bigger what. Like I truly believe like, well, I wouldn't say that it would end up all in the same hands, but there are a group of people who would probably like not know how to spend their money, and then they'll end right back up where they at. Like I don't know if you've ever like seen those people who win $500 million with the lottery, and then they end up broke. Listen, I don't understand that, but that's a point proven right there. You had $500 million, you didn't have to worry about nothing for the rest of your life and your kids' life, and somehow you ended up right back where you were. How do you blow through $500 million? That's $500 million.
You must have been
Excuse me.
spending a
So
million a day. And then that's still
listen,
not a lot. Like that's still it wouldn't add up in my head. It wouldn't
it
add up.
wouldn't, it couldn't. So I mean, I definitely believe that there's a point where there's a group of people where they not gonna make use of what they have, but uh I definitely wouldn't wish for riches, because you know even if we all had the same amount of money, you never know what's going on in another person's mind. Everybody's different. So I can walk in with the same bag as you, but if you think it look better on me, you still gonna be mad, no matter if we got the same thing or not. So
Mhm.
it depends on the person. People like it depends on people and individuality, because you never know what you're gonna get when you working with people or dealing with people. So yeah.
I'm at the point where I just want to see if a million is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe we just playing ourselves short because we not aware of $1 million.
Hmm.
And we're aware. We see rappers. We see
Hmm. I mean, I guess I've never really thought about it, because when you just said you want to see if it's real, like what you mean by that? Like you want to see the money in your hands, you want to see it in your bank, you just want to see the numbers in your
all of
bank
that,
account, or
all of that, all of that. Because at some point, it's like somewhere in our mind, that's like kind of fake because it's like
hmm.
it's really here though. Everything that's here is here. Everything that's here is here. It's like, but is it like
Hmm.
obtainable? Like, you know what I mean?
It's definitely obtainable. I definitely believe that it's obtainable. I think that it has a lot to do with putting yourself in the position to attain it. Like I know there are people where it's just like, oh, I'm gonna do this, but they sitting in the corner in their house, not making moves to like get there. You ain't gonna get that. But if you making moves, doing what you need to do to get there, it's attainable. You just gotta you just gotta keep moving and moving correctly for yourself for to get there. But I for me, I don't think anything is unattainable. I think you just gotta put in the work to do it. And if if the Most High believes that that's for you, then the door's gonna be open. Yeah, so
Let's go. Let's go. And
go the way that you need to go.
let's go. And two more. You still ain't giving me my last
I
two.
know, like I'm over here, like I hope he forget
Yeah.
it because I don't know.
Yeah. That genie gonna
I
be
don't
like,
know.
man, I'm keeping these last two wishes, man.
Right. I might just use the wish that I'm supposed to use. Like I don't know if you ever watched Aladdin, but he said that he gonna use one of his wishes to free the genie. So maybe one of them can be to free him, so he ain't got to worry about granting all these. Hey, if there's world peace, I can free you. If the world is good, I can wish for the genie to be free.
That's it.
And
That's the way to look at it.
the last one, yeah, that might have to be my only two. As long as we got peace, there ain't no hate. Like seriously, like everybody understand like the concept of love. We That's all I can ask for. Because that's why people live the way that they live. That's why this world is the way that it is, because there's no peace of mind.
Right. You could have said a bag. You could have said a bag. Ladies like bags. You could.
Yeah. I
Yeah. Somebody keep calling.
see.
Somebody
I
keep
like
calling
that.
me.
I can be materialistic too. If my last wish got to be a bag, all right, give me a
Nah,
Chanel
nah,
bag
nah,
because
sis, you good. You
them a pretty penny.
nah, you
them
good, sis.
cost a nice grip. So we can do that.
Nah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Listen, yo, Jazz, we need you on here for a second one.
I'm with it.
Yo, listen, I love all the guests that came up here and Read, Remember, Repeat. Not only because
Hmm.
you guys have great minds, you
Hmm.
guys are really like just dope people. You know what I mean? Like
Thank you.
so much that you don't kind of want to leave the conversation. It's like it's the
Hmm.
conversation for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Thanks.
forget everything else. The conversation was gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel you.
Yo, Jazz,
Definitely
listen,
hope
we
someone took something
appreciate
from
you.
it.
Yes, we appreciate you. I know the viewers learned something from you. I definitely learned a lot from you today, and we can't wait to have you for part two, man.
Oh, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Shout outs to you, your family, and let's keep going, man. Let's move forward. We're not strangers, anymore. The power of networking, the power of
Thanks.
interviews, and
Hmm.
yeah, man. Read, remember, repeat. This was a dope one.
I'll listen to him.
Jazz, let them know. Let them know where to find you. Let them
Uh,
know, your Instagram. Shout the people that you want out. If you guys want her Instagram, go on the top, and click the down arrow where it says remember repeat. Click the down arrow, and you guys can see
yeah, Story
Jazz's
Maestro.
Instagram.
I'm
Yes,
on Instagram, TikTok. I, I'm on Twitter. I'm barely on Twitter, but I'm definitely on Instagram and TikTok. Those are my main platforms. And yeah, I'm hoping to really network with everybody. Hit me up.
let's go. Read, remember, repeat. Let's
Yeah.
go. You have a wonderful day, Jazz.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.